Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. With the Republicans about to take over control of the House of Representatives, the word that we keep bringing up is accountability, to hold these corrupt Democrats and Democrat agencies accountable for their despicable abuse of power over the last couple of years. But like I always say, the only way that they're going to hold the other side accountable is if Republican voters, the Republican base, holds their own leaders, the Republican establishment, accountable in fulfilling this mandate, this promise. You can't just talk a big game and then do nothing when you get elected. We'll leave that to the Democrats. That's what Joe does, that's what Obama does, that's what Hillary would have done. They talk a big game and then do absolutely nothing. They backstab you immediately after getting into office. The new Republican Party is supposed to revolve around one specific concept: promises made, promises kept. And so it's time to hold the Republican establishment to their word. And right now, I have to say, I have to give them credit, even though most of you guys are not happy with the same faces taking charge once again with Kevin McCarthy and Mitch McConnell. At the end of the day, that's what you got right now. In situations like this, the best you can do is play with what you got, accept the current status quo, and try to do your best with the current circumstance. Well, what that means right now is holding them accountable, and they're making a bunch of good promises. You got to give them credit. Kevin McCarthy, in a certain way, to a certain extent, he's not all the way where he needs to be, I think, is probably what a lot of people are thinking, but to a certain extent, he is saying the right things. Now, the most important factor is to make sure that he makes good on those promises. Well, the GOP is already starting strong, announcing a bunch of new investigations, and step number 2, getting rid of these corrupt deep state Democrat actors, removing them from their committee positions, and already the promises are pouring in. We're talking about Ilhan Omar, Adam Schiff, and Eric Swalwell, already targets to be removed. Let me show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, take a look at this. McCarthy to remove Ilhan Omar from key committee after taking reins in the House. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy is wasting little time ahead of his expected takeover of the speakership from Democrat leader Nancy Pelosi come January when the new Republican majority is sworn in. In comments on Saturday, the California Republican said that he plans to remove Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat from Minnesota, from the House Foreign Affairs Committee over several past, quote, anti-Semitic remarks. We watch anti-Semitism grow, not just on our campuses, but we watched it grow in the halls of Congress, he told the Republican Jewish Coalition's 2022 leadership meeting in Las Vegas. I promised you last year as Speaker, she will no longer be on Foreign Affairs, and I'm keeping that promise, he said as the audience cheered, Fox News reported. And now this is something that should have happened a long time ago, and it seems as though with a new Republican majority, cleaning up Congress seems to be a priority. Now it's not as easy as just removing her, there needs to be a majority vote, and this is where voter pressure really counts. Voting record. There's a lot of complaint from the Republican base about elected officials not representing them, voting in ways that they dislike. Well, the only way to change that is to keep a very close, a very keen eye on how Republicans are voting across the board. And in a situation like we're going to see over the next 2 years, it's even more important because Republicans don't have this massive majority. If Republicans want to get something done, they need to vote near unanimously to get that House majority and get something across the finish line. And so seeing who's voting yes and who's voting no, seeing who is stopping the will of the Republican voter from within, Republican actors, rhinos, Republicans in name only, well, with a small majority like this, they will be exposed. And the only way that you can change or you can fix that is by applying political pressure on the individuals that are sent to Congress to represent you. Ilhan Omar must be removed, and the Republican Party has to do it, and the Republican Party can do it. They just need a little bit of motivation. They need to be held to account. Accountability is the word, and it doesn't just stop with Ilhan Omar. If anything, Ilhan Omar is not nearly as much of a priority as this. Kevin McCarthy now says he will not allow Adam Schiff or Eric Swalwell on the House Intelligence Committee.
One thing I said from the very beginning, Eric Swalwell cannot get a security clearance in the public sector. Why would we ever give him a security clearance in the Secrets to America? So I will not allow him to be on Intel. You have Adam Schiff, who had lied to the American public time and again. We will not allow him to be on the Intel Committee either. And you look, Congresswoman Omar, her anti-Semitic comments that have gone forward. We're not going to allow her to be on Foreign Affairs.
And now again, this is something that has to happen. It may even be priority number one. Not because it's the most important thing that they could do, but because it's something that can be done quickly. It's rather insignificant to get the process going. And most importantly, because it's long overdue. Eric Swalwell is a national security threat. The guy is the human embodiment of TikTok. After the whole Fang Fang scandal, it's either he's just clueless and very easily manipulated, he just, follows his friend wherever it may take him, or he is a deeply corrupt Washington lobbyist who is easily bought out by foreign interest. And regardless of which option it is, option A or option B, both of them are equally as dangerous to American interests and national security. It'd be one thing if he was just a congressman. He's sitting on the Intelligence Committee. This should be a top priority. America-hating Ilhan Omar, who's constantly spewing vitriol and just in general making diplomacy hard with other nations and areas across the globe, she should not be on the Foreign Affairs Committee. Eric Swalwell, who was manipulated by a CCP spy, should not be on the Intelligence Committee, with access to the most classified information available. I mean, come on, this isn't rocket science, this is basic common sense. Then moving to Adam Schiff, it's the same thing but in a different way. A man who over the last 6 years has used his very privileged position to do nothing but wreak havoc, spreading lies and conspiracy, and multiple times during massively televised primetime hearings, spreading straight up doctored evidence and misinformation in his effort to go after Donald Trump and his political opponents. The guy who lied to Americans for years, claiming he had evidence of Russia collusion, more than circumstantial evidence, claiming that Donald Trump was going to end up behind bars. Oh, just wait till you see what we're looking at in the Intelligence Committee. Oh, it's real damning, it's real bad. Donald Trump is a foreign asset, a foreign agent. Trust me when I tell you that, is basically what he said over and over again on MSNBC during Rachel Maddow's show, only in the end to have nothing, no evidence. Total exoneration of the president or the former president each and every single time. Has Adam Schiff ever apologized? Has he ever clarified his statements? Has he ever taken a step back? No, he continues to double down even to this day. Has he ever apologized for presenting falsified information to the American public? Nope, he hasn't. He never will. What he should do is resign. But if he won't resign, then he should be removed. Again, I think it's totally logical. It's common sense. These individuals should not be anywhere near the positions of power that they are. They should not be sitting down in these committees. They have proven themselves irresponsible, dishonest, disingenuous, corrupt, and if they're just allowed without any opposition from the Republican establishment to continue in their roles, if the Republican Party is not willing to stand up and say, listen, this must be rectified, these people must be removed from these seats, well then that would be a massive slap in the face to every single honest, patriot, conservative American. There has to be accountability. We know that accountability is rare to come by in the world of politics. In the real world, you commit a crime, you go to jail. You're a salesman and you don't bring in sales, you get fired. You do something illegal at work, you get fired. You suffer consequences for your actions. It's time for the Republican Party to stand up and say, you know what? These people deserve consequences for their absolutely reprehensible, morally reprehensible, and in some cases borderline criminal, if not criminal behavior. And it's time the Republican Party actually stands up for something and does something. And frankly, this would be a good step, along with launching all the other investigations, getting to the bottom of things, and hopefully starting to pass some decent bills. In relation to free speech, maybe breaking up tech monopolies. Come together, do the right thing, and even if the bills don't pass, even if you don't succeed, at least it's going to expose the rhinos, and it's going to expose the Democrats. For instance, in the whole tech monopoly world, these Democrats constantly talking about these massive evil corporations and monopolies and billionaires. Expose them, pass a real bill on the House floor, present it on the Senate floor, and let's see where these Democrats vote and let's see where these Republicans vote. Let's see what they do when it comes down to doing the right thing. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.